Hello everyone, I'm your host Pensyfan19 and welcome to the January 2025 Pensyfan Periodical. This is a monthly news series which covers most of the major railroading headlines from around the world, as well as my opinions on them. We have a lot of articles to go over today, so with that in mind, let's get rolling. Firstly, I must admit that this month in particular has been an especially dry month when it comes to railway news, so I'll be combining two shorter stories from this month in this first segment, since both of them are follow-up news, and once again, both of them pertain to the state of California. The first of which comes from Dreamstar Lines, as they recently provided initial renderings of their passenger cars to be used in service starting in 2025. These renders appear to include a lot of large couches, rectangular windows, and some wood furnishing, but there are still no renders of the exteriors of the coaches as of yet. This is likely a smart move on their part, so this way their final exterior design wouldn't differ too wildly from initial concept art, especially since it's assumed that Dreamstar Lines will most likely refurbish existing coaches, so this way the service could start sooner than later. In larger news from the same state, the California Air Resources Board has flat out canceled their plan to have all trains and trucks running on battery or hydrogen by 2030, mostly due to the backlash from several railroads and elected officials. This rule would have also banned any locomotive that isn't Tier 4 that was constructed before 2007, and it would also have set up an account for railroads to contribute to that would help purchase zero-emission engines. The proposed law received mixed feedback from several people, with some criticizing it for being too harsh too soon on entirely diesel railroads, especially when considering smaller short lines whose roster consists of several diesels dating back to the 1970s, while others criticize it for not focusing enough on encouraging the use of overhead wires similar to Caltrain instead of lithium batteries or hydrogen power. Even though battery and hydrogen are imperfect, I still believe that a train is better than no train, and it would still be nice to reduce emissions in several sectors in addition to railroads, and I just hope that rail projects continue to be further developed in California and the rest of the country for years to come, whether they're powered by overhead wires or battery. Speaking of which, here's some interesting news. Metrolink gave free ride vouchers for riders affected by the Los Angeles wildfires. Residents of Heber City, Utah are opposing the name Iron Horse High for the soon-to-be-built high school. A Davenport switcher that constructed the Hoover Dam has been restored at the Nevada State Railroad Museum. The New England Central Railroad Museum turned Metro-North Heritage Unit Conrail 201 into a marketable plushie. Norfolk Southern gave $10,000 for the restoration of 611, the Lehigh New England diesel instead of the Norfolk and Western J-Class. Mount Taranaki in New Zealand is now legally recognized as a person. Alstom is to hold a massive gathering of historic equipment at Derby Works later this year to celebrate Railway 200. A Top Gear lookalike was featured in an article about proposed operator Go-Op. Belize is looking to extend Tren Maya into their country. Avril placed their high-speed laboratory train in service. And a new study is to look into a Spain to Morocco rail tunnel, which will likely be connecting ONCF and Renfe. In regards to follow-up news, the TriMet Max Type 6 has entered revenue service along with Marta Stadler's CQ400 subways. The government of Mexico is planning to start new passenger service from Mexico City to Querétaro and Mexico City to Pachuca in 2027. Main Switching Services has taken over operations on the Rockland branch with no passenger service. And Brightline West has delayed their start of service to December of 2028, unfortunately being a few months after the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. In other news, TransCanyon has purchased the Wabtec ES43 ACMI. Southeastern is to refurbish the Class 376. Skoda has delivered the 4-City Plus 52C LRV for Prague, while Wabtec delivered the R255 battery-powered engine for the NYC subway. Knoxville Locomotive Works placed a battery diesel hybrid into service for CN by converting a genset. Integral released Tier 4 switchers for service on different branches of the US military. OBB acquired Stadler Kiss CMUs from DB. The Dr. Yellow train set has been retired from JR. Go Transit has acquired ex-Metrolink F59PHs that will likely pull soon-to-be refurbished bi-levels. The Naugatuck Railroad has acquired ex-Santa Fe high-levels. CSX converted one of their SD70 Max into a first responders training unit with 6 digits. Nintendo released the Nintendo Switch 2 with 24-player Mario Kart. Vermont Rail wants to reopen the mountain division between St. Johnsbury and Whitefish. Metrolink has proposed extending their Ventura County line to Goleta. Arena Ways has restarted operations between Cuneo and Savigliano. The Lusail tram opened the Turquoise line at Qatar, while GEST in Florence has opened their T2 tram line extension. And Ottawa reopened their O train lines 2 and 4 after undergoing a lengthy overhaul. After all that, it is now time for this month's Meme of the Month. This month's Meme of the Month is Top Gear Milwaukee Road Edition.
Milwaukee Road.
And now, the top story of the January 2025 Pensyfan Periodical is MKP 587 is up for auction! After radio silence on this engine for years after moving it from the Indiana Transportation Museum, the Kentucky Steam Heritage Corp has announced that Nickel Plate Road number 587 is up for auction starting on January 25th, with the bid lasting for exactly 1 month and the winner being announced on March 3rd. Such a swift auction was caused by a judgment against the locomotive's private owner for unpaid storage fees since the owner has been storing the engine on Kentucky Steam's property for the past few years. According to their public statement, potential bidders are welcome to view 587 to inspect its status and what could possibly be needed to move or restore the engine to full service, as the engine is being sold as is where is, as Kentucky Steam stated they also have the right to reject any bids, meaning that the engine would be safe from scrapping companies. It's assumed that proceeds from this auction will help the Heritage Group with restoring Chesapeake and Ohio 2716, or possibly for acquiring other equipment in the future, as rail fans are eagerly awaiting to find out who the future owner of the Steam Excursion Star could possibly be. But no matter who ends up winning the engine in the end, the auction is a promising sign in steam preservation in which an almost forgotten about engine that hasn't been seen in years is now one step closer to entering a new chapter in its lengthy history, with high hopes of eventual, at least cosmetic restoration, or maybe even return to mainline service depending on who the owner is. Thank you everyone for watching this month's episode of the Pensyfan Periodical. There have been a lot of real news headlines for the month, and it will be very interesting to see what the future has in store for all these articles. Thank you again for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe for more. Have a good day.